Alright, so let's go ahead and do a little mock build. So that way I can show you what to buy and how much would it be, or like ballpark around. So this swap right here that I'm gonna do, that's like a mock swap that I'm doing. It's mainly for an EG chassis, Del Sol, and I think it does apply to an Integra as well. Alright, so let's start out with the transmission. You can pick any transmission you want, as long as it's K series, obviously. So let's go ahead and pick this. So my main source, by the way, I'm gonna be using eBay just for right now, but you can use any source to buy your parts, because obviously you're gonna find other parts a lot cheaper than eBay. And a lot of people do not trust eBay, but so far I have not had issues with eBay. Make sure that I look at the seller down in the bottom and look at their positive feedback. I can also talk to them, and I also like to come to the shipping, return, and payments and see if they offer any warranties, or how good are their stuff backed. So yeah, so for example, this one does not offer returns, but look at their rating. It's 99. So that means that they're pretty reliable and pretty good. You can go in depth and actually check their stuff and see. All right, so for this, we're gonna be sourcing an 02 to 04 RSX non-LSD. It's a good transmission and to start out with, and pretty affordable. I mean, there's a lot way more affordable, but this is something that's not bad to get. So all right, so we're gonna go with this transmission. All right, next stop, let's move on to the engine. All right, so let's go with this one. I already spoke to them. They said that it's about $250 for my zip code, so that'll be Florida. So just adding that to that price, which is not bad. Yep, look at that. Look at the rating, 100%. And I'm not endorsing anybody by any chance. I'm just like browsing pretty much and just trying to make a mock build. All right, so we're gonna go with this JDM K24. All right, so right off the bat, if you're getting a JDM K24, if you're not running that power steering, you might want to delete it and get the EP3 pulley or the AC the AC power steering delete. I went with the EP3 pulley, but since this is a JDM K24, the water pump housing, it's a lot different than the USCM ones, so you're gonna have to change that out. So I went ahead and changed mine out for a 02 to 04 RSX base, 02 to 06 I believe CRV, and then the year of the EP3 Civic. That way the alternator will bolt on, and I had to use a different alternator as well, the one for that water pump housing, obviously the water pump itself, and then I bought a aftermarket auto tensioner for it as well. So that's one of the big issues when you're buying one of these. And then also as well, in the back where that solenoid is at, you're gonna need, it does not come with the VTEC oil pressure sensor. So unless you want to run it, then you have to buy it. If not, you don't have to. It's just a censored. All right, and then some of them come with the flywheel bolts. I went ahead and bought mine. It's up to you. You can salvage a lot of the stuff that comes with this engine, like that upper coolant housing. You can use that, but I noticed this one does not have the extra pipe or the line that runs to the firewall if you're running the heater hoses. You can use a lot of this stuff. You can use like the intake manifold off of this, the fuel rail. You're gonna have to change that throttle body if it's drive-by-wire. So I believe you can get an old cord one, or any aftermarket one you can get as well. So yeah, that's pretty much it for the K24. All right, and now we're gonna move on to the headers. All right, so with this one, I went with 1320 Performance K-swap headers. You can go with the top one. That's a lot. I mean, it's a little bit more money, but you're gonna keep it fairly cheap. But that's a 3-inch right there, so it's better flow. Right, so we're gonna go with this one. All right, so when you get the headers, make sure that you are buying the gasket. This one in particular came with an aftermarket gasket. I went ahead and bought an OEM gasket for it. So yeah, the 251, but 35 shipping. It's not bad, and it's a good cheap little aftermarket headers you can get for your car. So we're gonna go ahead and get this one. All right, next up, motor mounts. Yes, so with this one I went with Hasport EGK2. You can't go wrong with Hasport. Well spend money right there. I actually bought mine on Black Friday for $264, so it's a lot better than the price right here that you see. So this is pretty much what it goes for, probably a little bit more. I seen it go for 500 as well. So yeah, I went with EGK2. So and I'm just gonna pick this one. Just make sure you're selecting the right like, what is it, that the like the little mounts, well, how like stiff they are. Just make sure you select the one that you want for your comfort ride. For mine, I went with a 70A, a race, so a little bit up in the street, but not as stiff as the other ones. So yeah, I went ahead and went with this. You can also go with Innovative. Nothing wrong with that, as I know they're a little bit affordable. Hybrid Bracing has some too. So there's a lot of variety out there. They even have knockoff ones. It's up to you. You want to go, try those ones. I mean, I'm willing to try it if I'm doing a little really cheap build, but it's up to you. I've never met anybody personally or seen a review on the replica ones or the fake ones. I've seen comparison with the Hasport ones and how they met and how they talk about the welds that they go with and how cheaply they are. But with Hasport, you can't go wrong. So let's go ahead and get the Hasport EGK2 mounts. And of course, depending on what chassis you have, you're gonna have to buy the correct mounts for your car. This one I like because the EGK2 has a dual height, and if you're running a K20 or a K24, it's adjustable for those two engines. So it's not like before, how you had to buy engine mounts specifically for your engine selection of choice. Obviously, if you got mounts for a K20 and you got a K24, that means you're just gonna have to adjust and modify your hood for clearance and so forth. But this one should be perfectly fine. So let's go ahead and get these. All right, now let's source engine harnesses. I have both. I have an 02 and 04 Type S RSX engine harness, and it came with the charge harness as well, so not bad. I got it for $360. So when you're doing this, I don't know too much how to modify the 05 to 06, but as you can see right here, there's an 02 to 04 RSX Type S 370. I mean, you can probably see if you can source one a lot cheaper, but let's go ahead and see this one. So yeah, like I was saying, I have two. I have the OEM one, and I have a Wireworks engine harness. That one's by far perfect. It's customized to your likings. I also got it around Black Friday, so I paid about $480, $490 or so. They have different stages, so go check them out and see what will be your best fit. They're not that bad in pricing, but it's custom, so you can't go wrong. You're fitting it to your car. And when I noticed with them and the actual engine harness, it has integrated kind of like a charge harness, but you can select it if you want to integrate a charge harness on it as well. But has pretty much is bolting on directly to the alternator, and I think the knock sensor, yes. But this one is not bad. It comes with the charge harness, so you're getting it all together. The charge harness, you're gonna have to extend it and modify it. It's not that bad of a deal, but this one works out perfectly. But in my case, I went with a K24A JDM, so the starter plug is going to be really different. So I mean, you can, if the engine comes with the old engine harness, you can probably modify it and cut it, and then just like solder it back or crimp it back on. But it's not a big deal. I literally, like, from the charge harness, I literally just plugged it in, and I mean, it's not meant to be plugged like that, but it's like a little clip, so it goes in perfectly, so it's no big deal, and it does work. So yeah, so this one's $370. It's coming from this seller. It's not bad. It has 100%, and it's just 10 additional dollars than what I actually pay for mine, and you're getting everything, so it's not bad. All right, so let's go ahead and get this one. All right, fuel rails. All right, so you can keep the OEM one. There's nothing bad with it. You're going to upgrade, and I went ahead and upgraded as well. You can buy, well, it's up to you and your budget, but I'm just gonna go with the fuel rail itself. So this one, and you can buy anyone. There's a lot way cheaper options out there, obviously. K Motorsports has really good quality fuel rails for like the fraction of a cost of this. I want to say about 60 or 80 bucks. Not bad. You can also go with Hybrid Racing or any other companies out there that have their own fuel rails. I myself went with a K20 fuel rail, and I paid about $180 or so because I got a 4 Bangers edition one when it first came out. But that was just a preference of mine. Well, let's go ahead and get this fuel rail. And when you're getting the fuel rail, make sure that you're buying the plugs that you need. I believe they're a -8. -8 plugs. So just make sure you're getting the right plugs and your fuel lines as well to connect it to your fuel pressure regulator. Or if you're running aftermarket, like micron filter and inlet micron filter, or you're just running it to the chassis one. But also you're gonna have to go get fuel lines as well, AN lines, or I mean you can buy them already made for the card. So you can see this one, the top one already comes with some fuel lines, but went ahead and fabricated my own. So yeah, you can do that as well. So yeah, so for this one, we're gonna go with the K20 fuel rail. All right, so injectors. You can keep the stock ones from the car, no big deal. Just make sure you clean them. So with mine, I went with RDXs since I am running all motor. I guess with time I'll upgrade the CCs, but right now I'm keeping it 410 just because it's all motor. Just make sure when you're buying them, you're not buying fake ones. I made a video, as you want to check out, that comparing a fake one to the OEM one. I guess a good way to know is like buying it from a trusted source, like an actual company that you know sells OEM stuff, opposed to buying it off here. But yeah, so for me it cost about, I want to say $240, $240 for RDX injectors. So here's a wide variety of injectors. And then also keep in mind the RDX injectors have different plugs. So as you can see, these ones have pigtails, and it's just pretty much to convert to your harness. If you're getting a Y-Works or any aftermarket custom harness, Y-Wire or any other ones that come out there, you can actually have them made already with the actual RDX's plugs integrated into the harness itself. So that way you bypass having to buy little pigtails or jumper cables, adapters. But it's not a big deal. Mine's are meant for an RSX, so I use the pigtails. But yeah, so I don't want to go with this pricing because I mean obviously I did like it, but let's give or take they're going to be about $240, $280 for OEM ones. So yeah, RDS injectors, you don't have to. You can run the stock ones with the car. Just make sure you clean them. But yeah, injectors are also one. Alright, so the intake manifold. Like I said, you can keep the stock one, the one that comes with the car. Sorry. If you're upgrading like I did, you can go with skunk, ultra manifold, like ultra ones. Like you can go with whatever your choice. But this is a stock, but still making good, decent power Rbc intake manifolds. And as you can see, wide variety here of sellers. Let's go ahead and get this one since I did buy from them and it came awesome. All right, so $230. So let's go with this price. Can't go wrong with these. So boom. All right, so throttle bodies. Right, you can use, I believe, the O-core one if you don't want to spend too much money, and you can source it out easy, or the O2 to O4 Type S one. Just make sure the cable ones, I mean, unless you're running the wire one, the drive-by-wire. So in my case, I have a 70 millimeter. So let's just source a good, fairly priced one. So I see this one up here. All right, so let's go ahead with this one. I am currently running this one along with the cable. The cable I bought it from Hybrid Racing, and like throttle cable. It says this for K-swap, but you can also use a GSR. It's not bad with this one. So the thing right here where you put the cable did not want to fit for some reason, and I did not buy it from K20 directly, so it might have bolted on correctly, so I had to nudge it a little bit, kind of grind that so it can fit the cable, but it wasn't a big deal. Right, so for this, let's go ahead and get these ones. And then for my throttle body, I deleted the IVAC, and I forgot the other one, but I am running my which you need your map bar, your map, and your TPS. So yes, and then my TPS is Blocks Racing, and then my map is an Opni 4-bar, so you can source those out as well. All right, radiator. I went with a half radiator, Michimoto K-swap for my chassis, and it bolted on perfectly. I did not have to adjust anything like I've seen a lot of people have to remove and the brackets from the bottom, and place the aftermarket one so it can place with the radiator. I mean, unless you're running a full radiator, this one should be perfectly fine. I've seen people use even their stock D series one, their B series one for it, but I went ahead and got a K-swap one for my car and my setup, so worked out perfectly. I didn't have to modify anything, and in the future, if I do decide I want to go turbo, it also works out with my radiator. So as you can see, let's go with this one. Oh no, this is for a 96. This one right here. All right, so let's go ahead and say we want to buy this one. This is what I did. So perfectly fine. All right, next something you're gonna need, radiator hoses. All right, so if you can get any hoses from any auto parts stores, or any hoses that you can customize to fit your build perfectly. I went ahead and went with Hybrid Racing. It's the best affordable price at the time when I was buying them. I believe I got them for like 68 or something. But yeah, so the Hybrid Racing one, perfectly fine. Right there. K20 has them, Michimoto has them. Any other companies I've seen, aftermarket ones. But I went ahead and went with the Hybrid Racing one. These ones, I don't think they're meant for my car, but they're gonna cost you about that price or so. So yeah, I went with Hybrid Racing ones. And then this is an aftermarket coolant temp sensor adapter. K20 also has them as well. And unless you're running it by the upper coolant housing, which is suggested to get better reading, or if you're running it in the thermostat housing, that's where I originally was running mine, and I have my fan switch in there. But yeah, unless you're running K-Pro, you're not really going to need the fan switch from what I read and what I was told. So I'm not running it, even though I have it. I do have the fan switch. You can go ahead and get them as well, and then the coolant temp sensor as well. For this one, for this K motor one, it actually comes with the actual adapter as well, which is really nice, and you can place on your Rbc Intake Manifold, the coolant, the upper area of the coolant, near the coolant housing. which is not bad. I actually seen this one a lot way more affordable than 2150, but this is also something you might want to get. All right, something that is really crucial that you're going to need is your post mount. You're going to need the 02 to 06 CRV K24 post mount. This one is perfectly with the swap engine mounts. I see, so you can see the top one. You got the more fancy billet looking ones with K-tune. I've seen billet ones that are really aftermarket for about $60, which is not bad. And if you're looking for that billet look, you know, but I just went with the OEM one. Can't go wrong with that. And it doesn't really matter. It does the job, and that's what you need. So you can see there's plenty of sellers here selling them. Mine did not come with that little stud, which is okay. Bought it brand new and cost me about this price, but I would say about 46. So this is something you're going to need. Just make sure that you save obviously the bolts that are mounting your OEM post mount that it came with the engine, and then just bolt it on back on with this one. But you're going to need this to do the swap as well. All right, so for the thermostat housing, you don't need to run it, but this is adjustable, so it's just a nice feature to have. You can use your OEM one. The only problem with this one is, like, as soon as you put the coolant and you're ready to start up, you're going to have leaks. So you just make sure that you tighten it as much as possible and best as possible, and then you're going to have to tighten it up again. I had quite a few leaks when I installed mine, and you know, I had to check for leaks and re-tighten it, and then after I tightened everything, I was pretty much good to go. As you can see, there's a whole variety of aftermarket ones up here. I bought mine from K Motorsports. I think I paid about $80 or $60, and it's working perfectly fine. But if you want to get fancy and technical, I mean, K-tune has one as well and does the job. These ones do the job as well. I really don't have any issues with mine, but like I said, you don't have to run it. You can use your stock one. This is just a nice feature to have because it's adjustable. So when you're running your lower coolant, your lower coolant radiator hoses, you can adjust them the way you want, so that way it doesn't have to be fixated into one spot. All right, so very important, the clutch. All right, so I went with a competition clutch stage 3. Cost me about this much, 5 something. You can go with any stage you want, stage 2, 3, 4. The twin disc, whatever you want, but you know, mine's all motor setup, nothing too fancy. You can even go with a stock one, you know, like just a base, like a regular one. I see them go for like 300 or 2 something, and they even bring flywheel, which is awesome. So yeah, this is something you're going to need as well, obviously. But I went with a competition stage 3, paid about 5 something. So alright, so let's go with that one. It's $674. Alright, so for heater hoses, you don't have to run this. There's a lot of people that delete this and don't run it in their car. But I am running it because, you know, I wanna get some heat when it's cold. I don't care too much about AC, which I should, but maybe in the future, not right now. So okay, so for this one, on the top one, if you're running a K20, that will be way more ideal for you. And then the universal one, that's the ones that I got because I have a K24. So it's up to you. About the same price. The other ones are just more of a universal fit, so you can cut and, you know, and kind of modify it to yours, as opposed to the other ones that are really like already made and fixated for a K20. But so for this one, let's go ahead and get these ones if you're running it. I'm not, then never mind. Right, something else you're gonna need, the shifter box. So I went with the R6 Type S 02 to 04, which I don't think it should mind, about the same. Shifter box, paid about, I want to say about maybe 200 or 160, and it came with the shifter cable, the OEM shifter cables as well. So like this one, I mean, it should be the same, so it shouldn't matter, because like the shift selector should be all the same ones. So let's go ahead and get this one. I mean, it's up to you if you want to get a fancy one, like a K-tune billet one or a hybrid racing one, or any other aftermarket ones. I've seen like really cheap ones in here that look really fancy, but it's up to you if you want to buy it. But this is what I started out with, just for right now, and then I'll just upgrade later in time, preferably to a hybrid racing one, and especially now that they have brand new ones. But this is not bad. 150, you're getting shifter cables and you're getting the shifter box. All right, the shifter base plate. I think I paid like 60 or 80 bucks for mine, but look at all these affordable ones here, because it's just pretty much just a little billet housing. But you can go with any of these. K20 has them too. I believe Hybrid Racing has them too. It's just meant to, this is pretty much just the bypassing without cutting the factory from the actual card, because it has like a little tunnel kind of thing from the shifter. So this is like by bypassing it and cutting it, you can just put this and just like covers it over it pretty much. But yeah, look at these, like pretty much affordable. Let's just go. I mean, it's just a little piece, so it's not something fancy that needs to be like, oh, I need it, unless you want a name brand and stuff. But it's just a little billet mount that's just meant to cover it, so it doesn't have to be that fancy. It'll do the job. So let's go ahead and get this one. It's like what, 30 bucks, 28.93. Yes. All right, for the ECU, I got mine for about, I want to say 200. 02 to 04 6 Type S PRB ECU. It's the best one if you want to get, if you're doing the swap. I mean, there's other ones you can get, but this is the one that I'm more knowledgeable with, and I know it's the one to get. So I just went and got that one. I know you can also run the JDM ones from the Type Rs, and all you need is just an immobilizer, but you won't be able to do any customizations to the ECU. That's the only problem if you're running K-Pro. So this is what I literally bought, and I mean you can already get it installed with K-Pro. It's gonna be a little bit more, but let's say I'm gonna go with this one. But mine cost me about $200. But yeah, so let's go ahead with this one. So you're going to need the ECU for the swap, and then the K-Pro. So K-Pro for me, I got it local where I was at, so it cost me about, I want to say 800. I want to say about 800. I bought it from a local tuning shop, and then obviously they send it up to California to Honda to get it shipped and ready, and it took about 3 weeks, sometimes 2, but it took me 3 weeks to receive it back in the box with the K-Pro. But like I said, you can already buy it with the K-Pro. Let's go ahead and check that out to see. So there you go. Well, this one's really expensive, but just usually what they go for. Black Friday you might get lucky and get them a lot cheaper, so that's like that's where you should do all your swap or any of your car shopping. To be honest, Black Friday is the time to buy it. That's what for your build and getting it a lot cheaper. But let's go ahead and add this one for your K-Pro. Like I said, but I'm just including the ECU on this one, so I won't add the other one to the expensive to the total. But so I want to say, give or take, about 1,000. Yeah, you can say about 1,000, because ECU cost me about 200, and then the K-Pro cost me about 800. So yeah, about 1,000. So this is about the same ballpark, but this is already bringing the ECU with the Honda K-Pro. All right, something else you're gonna need for the engine to obviously speak to the car, vice versa. It's a conversion harness. I went with a Wireworks one, plug and play. It's freaking awesome, and it cost me, I want to say about 2 something when I got it. And I know they had a special going on, a sweet little special going on for a conversion harness, but that was a while back ago. I wish when I bought mine they had that special going on. But yeah, like so you can see, these are aftermarket ones. I haven't really bought them or no. I know you're gonna have to tap wires and connect wires. I'm pretty sure it has a diagram and it brings you to help you. But the Wireworks plug and play one, it's freaking awesome. Like I said, it's just pretty much like I said, plug and play, and you route everything, and it was awesome. So yeah, you have your variety from Hassport, K-Tune, and this is something you're gonna need as well to for the engine to speak to the ECU and then transmit to the vehicle as well. So let's go ahead and go with the K20 one, just to be safe. And this is an EG, so right, so 260. So let's go ahead and get this one. All right, so that's pretty much in a nutshell. I don't know if I'm forgetting anything. Um, yeah, I might be forgetting the brackets, if you know, just in case if you might need them. And by the brackets, I mean the relocating brackets for the radiator. I went ahead and bought mine because I didn't know how is my ground cables. I literally made my own. My fuel lines I made my own. Something I am missing is a fuel pressure regulator. So let's go back. All right, something else you're going to need is a fuel pressure regulator. I got mine from K20 and um, came with the gauge itself as well, and this is pretty much what I paid for it. I mean, like I said, there's other brands out there, Hybrid Racing. You know, you can go with other the AEM ones, other brands. You know, just make sure you don't cheap out on this when you're buying it. You know, it can be crucial for your car. So yeah, so let's go ahead and get this one. All right, and obviously fuel pump. If you're swapping K20, K24 to your vehicle, your chassis, you're gonna have to upgrade the fuel pump. The stock one will not cut it for the single cam. So for mine, I went with a Kemso one. You know, I asked questions around. It was only 30 bucks, but I took a chance on it. I might upgrade it because I was just testing waters, but um, I literally bought it's called Kemso, and it was 30 bucks, and I heard great reviews on it. So I went ahead and bought it, and you know it works perfectly fine when I installed it, and you know I primed it, everything. You know I can hear it. It is you know throwing fuel. And let me see if I can find it and tell you guys. But yeah, you're gonna have to get a fuel pump. You know, I might just upgrade to an AEM one, and just to be safe with time. But you know, the Kemso, you know, like it's this one right here, worked out perfectly fine. Um, I've seen a lot of people get issues too. I know right off the bat, like those the little filters that go at the end. These ones were not cutting it whatsoever. With my with the actual housing where the fuel pump sits. So I had to reuse. Obviously, I cleaned it, but I reused the one from the stock fuel pump, and then just bolted it on. And it went perfectly fine with the fuel pump. But these ones right here, yeah, it was a pain in the butt just to install. And to be honest, you don't really need to do anything else because like you already have everything connected. The plug it's pretty much plug and play, so I didn't really need none of this stuff right here. I did reuse. I did wind up taking my old hose and using this one, I believe, and then reusing these little clips here for the bottom. But that's about it. Everything else just I didn't really need. I just reused it. Unless it's really bad and it looks like it's worn out, then go ahead and get it. But like I said, you're taking a chance if you're getting this one. Went ahead and got it because I heard great reviews on it, and you know I couldn't believe it for the price. And look how many have they sold about 3,000, and it was great. I mean, you can't go wrong with it. But I'm not like I'm saying. This is the one I bought. You go ahead and buy the one that you want. But yeah, just if anything, go with an AEM one. So let me see if I can find an AEM one, and then just to be safe, because you can't go wrong with that one. So this one should be about it. About 108.91. Looks about it. Yeah. So just go ahead and get this one just to be safe. All right, so you reached the end. This is just an approximate calculation of how much everything's gonna cost you. Just going by what I did on the video because I forgot a lot of stuff too. So you're looking at 6,966 with 98 cents. Give or take, you're going to spend between 6 to 9, maybe a little bit more depending on how you budget it. You know, you can probably source a part out RSX or a K-swap vehicle for 800 or you know or less or 1,000, and you know you can move on that way of you know being like less costly than what I just did. But For me, I didn't really have a budget. I mean, I did buy some stuff and I budgeted on that, like, buying the shifter with the cables stock, instead of buying, like K20 or Hybrid Racing or stuff like that, any aftermarket parts. Just to save a little bit more money, and it doesn't hurt to start out with something simple like that. But and this mock built, I forgot, I didn't add a lot of stuff. Like, if you're getting the JDM K24A, you're obviously going to need to change the water pump housing. If it doesn't come with the water pump, you need to get a water pump. I mean, it doesn't hurt to upgrade the water pump, and stuff that's replenishable like that. Maybe buying Honda, buying gaskets, sensors. Obviously, you're gonna need the VTEC solenoid pressure, the VTEC pressure, oil pressure sensors that you might need, and forget I didn't add that in there. The cold air intake, the MAD, the TPS. If you're running IVAC, stuff like that, and then I'd add to this to the cost of this. So there's a couple of stuff in here that I didn't add to this mock build that you're definitely going to need, but these are just main stuff that I know you're going to need. So after calculating everything, and shipping and adding all that stuff, it approximately gave me this. So it was really close to $7,000. So you're looking between 6 to 9, possibly 10, depending on how you do it. But yeah, I hope you enjoy the video. I know this wasn't accurate to the teeth, but I added main stuff that you're going to have to get and need. So I hope you enjoy the video. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments, or I have my Instagram as well. Contact me directly. Make sure you like the video or leave a comment. If you have any questions, if you need help with this build. I did this whole purposely for educational purposes to help you guys with your build and what you need. If you have any questions or doubt on I'm about to embark on my cave swap journey. What do I need? What do I do? I read forums and stuff like that, and it was really helpful asking people as well. But when you go through yourself, you learn so much. And I did not know or read that by getting the JDM K24A, you're gonna if it doesn't come with a idle pulley, a EB3 idle pulley, or an idle pulley of such, you're going to need to upgrade that. And it bolts up differently, and it's literally different because it's a JDM. So they don't over there. The JDM one does not have the oil pressure sensor, and the water pump housing it's different if it's if it's running the the power steering thing. But if you're running power steering, then by all means it's perfect. If you're not, you're gonna have to change that as well. But yeah, I hope you enjoy the video. Thanks for watching.